Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. We'll get started in just a minute. I'm waiting for some of you to come on here. I see one heart. I don't know who that is. That's to Hey, Coach Masha, how you doing today? That's the coach of truth, y'all. My sister coach. You know how we do. I'm going to give y'all a few more seconds to come on in here. I have a lovely guest for you all today with this birthing season series. I'm enjoying so much. Oh my goodness. All right. We'll go ahead and get started because I'm my own DJ. My name is Coach Ronnie B. If this is the first time that you are seeing this face, my name is Coach Ronnie B, and I am the resiliency and relationship coach. And what that means is that I help people discover tools that they can use for their mind, body, and spirit so that they show up as their highest self every single day of their lives, no matter what life brings to them. Because you know what? The most important relationship that we have is the one that we have with ourselves. And so today, I think we're going to get into that and we're going to talk about that because I have Miss Dashel Lee. Let me bring her to the screen so y'all can see her.
Hi.
Hello. Dashel is an entrepreneur, inspirationalist, youth educator, survivor, mental health advocate. Dashel Lee is the owner of Crowned by Dashel Braiding Company, going on 2 years of providing healthy hair care and hair growth. Dashel is also the owner of Concrete Baby Clothing, coming from nothing, appreciating everything, growing through adversity. I love that. Dashel is currently a graduate student in the clinical counseling program to become a LMHP and is currently writing a book that she plans to publish in 2023. Some of her achievements is her recent completion of her master's degree in human services. She has a background in behavioral sciences where she shares her personal experiences in childhood trauma, parenting, and currently a mentor for survivors of abuse at Surviving Rising, a nonprofit that amplifies the voice of survivors. Dashel has daily contact with youth and great impact. And also, Dashel is a nurturing mother and has a personal desire to see women be free and aims to inspire others. Thank you so much, Dashel, for taking the time to be on the Girl You Better podcast, the birthing series.
Thank you for having me. I'm thankful to be here today.
Man, I can't like wait to get into deeper into your story because from Ashley, the last guest that was on the show, she says that you have an amazing story to share with us, and so I want to give you an opportunity to do that a little bit today. But before we do, the first question that I am asking all of the lovely ladies that are a part of the birthing series event December the 4th, why did you decide to accept the invitation to be a part of this event?
That's a good question. I think when I first was asked to do this, I I literally told her that I was going to pray because I need to hear God first, because sometimes I feel like we can step into things and it's not time. So I just wanted to make sure it was time. The reason why I said yes to this is because I personally have given birth in the natural realm, and I've also given birth in the spiritual realm. So I know how important it is to have that support. And I was also honored to be able to serve as a midwife for others. So I think that's very, very vital. And I think with me having the experience in both areas is another reason why I say yes to this.
Wow. Yes, that the spiritual birth. Can you talk a little bit about maybe what that spiritual birth was, or the birthing?
At the time when I've experienced, I mean, there's been, there's been multiple times that
Multiple.
I've actually given birth in the spiritual. But one of the ones that was really like one of those ones where I'm like, this is going to be a game changer is me actually getting like a vision of this first. So it was like more so like a vision of working with the youth, like a ministry in the youth, and then
Mhm.
also having women to actually help me birth that out, meaning they were, praying for me and pressing for me in that time. And they actually were assigned to help me bring the vision forth, if that makes sense. So just having those women there at the time of labor, I can't really say that they were there in the time of carrying it, but in the time of labor and pushing it out, those women were, I feel like they were set at that time in that place for me to help me get through it. They knew the right words to say, they knew what direction to go in, and they knew everything that I was going through in that time. So I think that's very vital that women have that, because it's very vital that when they're carrying something that's powerful like that, that there's a lot of distractions and they have to also stay focused. So I really feel like that time is very important. So that's why I said yes to that. So
Wonderful. And I'm just showing some of the comments here that are coming up. Some of your supporters that have tuned into the show. Hey, Coach Adam, how are you? um, Oh yes, and it's so important to have those midwives around you to birth those spiritual things, and that's what that is what the birthing season event is all about. Is that we are coming as midwives to help our audience birth something great inside of them. Now, the other question that I would like to ask you
mhm.
was, what do you hope to see at the event? Like, what do you hope to see happen, or what do you hope to see maybe manifest in others' lives that attend this event?
um, I hope to see. I'm very very passionate about this. To see women walk in freedom,
Mm,
I feel like that's one of my passions because there was different stages where I had to walk, where I had to come out of the I know sometimes, like in our city in Omaha, Nebraska, um, we have this thing where there's a lot of popularity people that click up and come together. But I believe that this is a season that authentic souls will win. So I feel like that authentic connection here is why they should be here, why they should be connecting with these women, and why they should have a support system, because there are people that love women. There are people that love authentic people, and there are authentic good people, and I think they deserve to have that experience in their lives if they don't have that right now.
yeah. Speaking of authenticity, and especially with Coach Tamasha that is on here, that is her platform, and that is what she has a workshop going on about is authenticity and digging deep in that process of getting to the authentic you. um you know, I think that sometimes, as people, we are scared of
Mhm.
seeing what, if we're authentic, how that will impact others, how that maybe may offend others if we're, you know, authentic. um but the connection is necessary, and that is why I encourage every attendant, and I'm not going to say just woman, because or just women, because there may be a man in the audience, who knows. um i want I want everyone to come with just a blanket, an open blanket, an open mind. I want them to come bruised. I want them to come unhealed. I want them to. You don't have to come perfect to this event, okay?
Yeah.
That's the thing about this. Like, you don't have to come in here and wear the face. You know, we wear the face every single day, but you don't have to wear the face at this event.
No,
Um,
you
not,
don't.
not
Take it off. Take that off. Take it off. You don't have to wear a face. I'm sorry. I just had to say. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. You don't have to wear a face. I remember there was times where I was so angry at God, and everyone would say, you know, you can't say that to God. Yes, I can tell God I'm angry. Why can't I tell God I'm angry? Because He's the only one that can fix it. I have to tell God when I'm not happy and pleased with things, and it's okay to feel that way. But that's the only way that you're really going to have an authentic relationship with God, is to be honest, because He already knows how you feel anyway. Okay, sorry, I'm going to let you go, but I just had to say that.
no. This is, look. This is all it. This is a conversation, and I just want us to have just a conversation that other people can just, you know, be nosy, just come in and just listen. You know, whatever that they're doing right now. Tiba has asked a question, and she says, "Okay, authentic connection. Love that you say that. How do you stay out of cliques? How do you stay out of the cliques? That's something that Tiba just.
Yeah, so she wants to know how I do that personally, or is it just like a general advice for everyone and staying out of cliques?
You know what? I don't know if you're listening, T, but you can clarify. But if not, you know, if you just have like an overall suggestion of how to stay out of, you know, becoming
Um,
part.
Me, I personally, the way I stay out of cliques is just getting to know people on my own and not what other people say about other people, because sometimes those come from places of hurt. So
Mm,
you just have to be mindful when you're selecting people, or when you are having conversations with people, or if you're thinking about getting close to that person, just being able to trust yourself when it comes to people. And I think that's a part of leadership. It's like, hey, can I discern if this person is good for me? Because there's been plenty of times where a person wasn't good for me, but they were okay with my friend.
mhm,
I think just having a mindset of being open, that some people are for some people and some people aren't. I think that's where I'm able to make that decision based off of, like, how do I feel? Like, what is my body saying about this person? What is my spirit saying about this person? Because what I found out is that a lot of people will say something about a person, but it's from a hurt place. So
mhm.
I'm very mindful when I'm dealing with people, and a person that I potentially want to be a part of their life or in my life, then I'm just going to discern and trust myself. So I think it's really vital to trust yourself and not others when it comes to being in, I'm not in a clique, but just saying to stay away from it is just trust yourself, trust your intuition. What is your body saying about this person? Because most of the time, people have their own perspective based off of one interaction with a person, and that's not truly who they are. So
Mm.
I think it's just more so, what do you feel about that? What does your authentic self say about who you're around and who you're with? Because your body and your mind is going to tell you. And it's up to you to decide if you're going to listen or not. So that's how I stay, you know, out of the way. And when I'm dealing with a person, I depend on myself and how I feel about it.
I like that you said your authentic self will decipher for itself, because your mind and your body will tell you. Um, there is discernment. I like to use discernment as well. Um, I'm very observant,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is something that I learned at a very early age. Is not to judge anybody, but just to observe for yourself. Just take them in yourself, and your gut will speak to you about, should you connect with this person or should you not, if you are conscious, if you are walking in total awareness.
Yeah.
But if not, then that won't happen. And Coach Adam, also from the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, my my coaching tribe, he says that when we were talking about being authentic, I struggle with that, not wanting to offend, so I hold back. And Coach Adam, I think I have been there too, where you just don't want to hurt. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want them to feel a certain way about you. But I think that if people understand you more, then they can also make an educated decision about if they want to also, connect with you or do business with you.
Absolutely.
Because you're a business owner. So are there some clients that, or are there some potential clients that you were like, I don't know if have you ever had that?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. There's some clients I won't accept, and that's just what it is, because it's not all about money with me. It's more so about a passion. And if I feel like there's a person that may taint that or may come in the way of a way that God is not, pushing me, then I'm definitely going to go against that. So not all money is good money. And if you're in business, you have to understand that it's not about money anyway all the time. You're more so building a brand, and you're following what God has for you. And if you have a relationship with God, then you'll understand that your clients come from Him and your clients don't come from you neither. So you have to be open to that discernment in those times. I'm not trying to offend them, but I am heavy when it comes to my energy and space. So I
Mm.
need that person to be, healthy for me. And you have the right to make that decision based off of your business, your life, your children, whatever place you want to be at, you have that decision. Just like I don't go everywhere, I'm not going to have accept every client. Um, it just is what it is. It has nothing to do with them, but it has completely everything to do with me.
Yes. Yes, not all money is good money, and that is something that Master Coach LaKendra always tells us, is that sometimes you do have to turn away some money, because what that money may bring you, it may it's a lot of other stuff that's behind that bag that you may not want to deal with. Um, hey, okay, let's see. Hey, Miss Wonderfully Starks, how are you? Coach Tamasha says, if this thing would stop moving around. Okay, there are good hurts too. Truth and accountability is uncomfortable but necessary. Miss Lexus Toller, all money ain't good money. Uh-huh. God will always keep up the difference. Yes. I see. Oh, hey, LaJoy, I see you have tuned in. Thank you so much.
She did my face too. So just a shout out to LaJoy for doing my face. She always makes me beautiful. And I want to also give a shout out. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I am better than me. That is Shannon's brand that he has of clothing. So you guys can
Can
check.
I can
Yeah,
we see
I
that?
don't know if I can. It says I am better than me. Hold on. I don't know if this is sort of weird, but
I
it's
am
I
better
am
than
better than
me.
me.
I know it's kind of opposite.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
opposite. So yeah, I got his brand on, and LaJoy beat my face today. I support a lot of people in our community, so I'm going to keep doing that. They're great people.
Awesome people. Yes, my people from Omaha. I can't wait to come there. I need my dose of home.
Yeah.
Um okay, so in your opinion, what is required to birth something?
Ooh, that's a good question, Lord. Ooh.
Yeah, I've been asking all the ladies this, and everybody has came with a good answer. So
All right, can you say it again so it resonates in my spirit?
yes, yes. In your opinion, what is required to birth something, in the spiritual? What is required of you?
Okay. So my answer for that would be confirmation, right? Because I've never birthed anything without confirmation, never. So if God has not confirmed that, then you probably don't want to give birth to it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, my last baby, God showed me her before she was even placed in my womb, and I feel like God is not a person that's going to give you something without preparation. So he will confirm those things before it happens. So I feel like if you don't, have a confirmation, then it's probably not from God. So I always look for a confirmation before giving birth, whether it's been a confirmation of, because you don't always just birth big ministries when you're birthing. There's been a season where I birthed peace in my life, where God birthed peace in my life. There's been a time in my life where God has, birth accountability in my life. Some birthing is not good, and some are better than others. But all those things came with confirmation before our birth, though. So I think that the confirmation is most definitely needed before birthing takes place. I think sometimes I'm sorry, I got to keep going. This is,
Keep going, keep going.
I think that sometimes we give birth to things that we have in our own mind, and it's not good. We need to make sure that God is confirming what we're birthing. Sometimes we can get in our own mind and say, hey, this is something that God told me to do, but in reality, God has never confirmed it. So I think that in the birthing process, that we have to make sure that we understand the importance of confirmation.
Girl, you gonna make me throw something up in here. Like every like every single person that has answered this, like I gotta make like a little compilation of everybody that has answered this question because everybody has answered this so beautifully of what is required. Man,
God,
God,
God is so real and so powerful. Confirmation is, before God done anything, before He spoke, it was already done. It's just it's so much, I can go on about this, but yeah, just make sure you're getting confirmation. Like, do not do things without confirmation. And I learned that I had to hit my head a couple times because
mhm.
God has given me something, but it wasn't the right season. So I think that we just need to be in tune with Him to know what is He saying right now. Because sometimes He gives us things for our future, but then we try to do it now, and sometimes we're not even in that space of maturity, or even have the right soil or the right people around us to even give birth. So also, yeah, sorry about giving birth.
Mhm.
Make sure you're in the right environment to give birth. If God is not in the environment of birthing, then that thing that's placed inside of you could die.
Mm, absolutely. It can die. You mentioned soil. You mentioned soil. It needs to be in good soil. The right environment. The right the right nurturing.
Yeah, the
Setting
right
for
heart,
yes.
the right.
Okay. So we got some comments here. Can you see the comments?
I see one that says "say that." Is that
Okay, yes. Miss Wonderfully Stark says, say that. Gonna
going
have a
on?
shouting.
Hallelujah.
LaJoy said confirmation. I love that. I wasn't expecting that answer. Look, I wasn't expecting all these answers that I've been hearing. Like I haven't expected anyone. So this is look. Let the Lord use all of you.
Yes, hallelujah. He's real.
He is. He is. Okay. And the next thing that I would like to know personally, if you want to um, share with us some ways. Okay, I'll ask you. I think possibly you'll probably answer this question dually. Okay, I want to know a little bit about your story because this is our first time meeting. And this is what is so beautiful about these interviews that I'm doing is that I'm meeting the people that I'm going to share the stage with for the very first time um as we are, speaking right now. So, share with us some ways to push through obstacles. You can think about that question. Share some ways to push through obstacles. But I also want to know a little bit about this story that Ashley mentioned. So I know probably your story involves some obstacles. So you can talk about maybe how you push through that. But tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so that's it's so hard for me to say, like, when that question is asked, it's so hard for me to start with that because there has been, so much that's ongoing that never stops in this story. But um, just, you know, I really don't know how to start that. It's so hard for me to say that or
Mm.
answer that. I can give a situation of my story that I know that I overcame. If that makes sense, I feel like this one would be good for women who are tuning in because
Yes, thank you.
this is a little part of it. I'm still asking God on direction on where I'm going to come at this event, but I would love for you ladies to be there. Like, I really feel it's going to change your life. And the person over at Lachey has the heart for you guys, and I feel like the leadership, it trickles down to us. So this
Mm.
is going to be life changing for you. Okay, so aside from that, a part of obstacles, you're asking about something that I overcame. Okay, so I remember about maybe 5 years ago, I was in a situation where I wasn't financially right at the time, so I found myself having to go to the welfare and waiting in line to get assistance because I came to a place where I was like, I don't care about what people say about me. This is for my children. So I don't care if anyone sees me in this assistance line. My children have to eat. So I got to that place because there was pride trying to set in to tell me, like, hey, people gonna laugh at you or they gonna think that, your God is not real. So I got in that line because God already knew I was hurt to even come in this line, right?
Mm.
And I heard God say to me, now y'all got to be really mindful when God speaks to you that He is real about what He says. He said to me, this is the last time that you will ever be in this line again.
Mm.
And the way it seems so cliche, it seems so little, but I literally have never been back in that line again, and I have 6 children.
Mm.
And God is good. So I feel like, in those kinds of times where when we're prideful and we don't want to do certain things, um, you have to be obedient. You have to do some things, but you also have to know that God is there and God is, even if you have to go back to a line for assistance, you have to also know that God is present, and that's a part of your testimony. That's the whole time I thought that I was going to have to be on assistance long term. God was using that part of me for a testimony to tell you guys that that was the last time that I ever stood in the line for assistance with 6 children. Can you think about that? The statistics of a woman with 6 children that has not stood in the line for assistance again because God said that. Because God said that. God said you will never be in this line again. And I have never been in the line again. God helped me and my children overcome that. That statistic that we overcame that statistic.
Mm.
And I'm not talking bad about anybody that receives assistance.
Yeah.
When God says it's done, it's done. When God says it's done, it's done. And I'm glad that God used that part of my life as a testimony because I felt horrible at that time. Prideful, and just, oh, I don't want to stand in here. Oh, oh, my nose is up. No, my nose wasn't up. But I just believe that God delivered me from there. And I'm asking God, why am I back here? But now that I understand that it was a part of my testimony to tell women, when God says it's done, it's done. And it's been done. And I believe it. And it's done. It's done. I have not went back to that line. Now, if he told me to go back to the line, you got to understand, I'm going to go back to that line. But when he said it was done, it was done. So I think that's a part of my story that I wanted to share as of right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want women to know that, there's better. Like, if you're going through something, it's okay. If you need help right now, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, no one's gonna help you with your children when they're crying at night, but you and God. So you have to trust God what He says in your life. If He says it's done, it's done. If He says go through the line today, so that you can learn another lesson, then do it. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
God is speaking to you is what you have to do. But at the end of the day, it's about your children. So put yourself aside for your children, and that's a part of my story that I would like to share to you guys, that when God says it's done, it's done, and trust him when he says those things and speaks those things over your life, because I didn't know that. I was like, whatever, just line up. But it was done.
That's a whole hashtag right there. That's a whole post. When God said it's done, it's done.
Baby, I was
He,
crying.
he can put the period at the end of a season of our lives
Jesus.
that we do not ever have to go back to again.
Mm,
But it's all about obedience. You said if he tells you to go back to the line, you will go back to the line, because what you're saying is that you trust him and that you will continuously walk in obedience, because God always has our best interest at hand at the end of the day, no matter what. But yeah, nobody can put a period at the end of a season of our lives
mm.
like God.
Whew. There's so much I can
I'm sorry, hold on, you froze.
Oh yeah, you said I froze.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you froze on my end. I don't know if you froze for
Yeah,
the audience, but
yeah. That's, the enemy's mad right now because I'm testifying about how God never let me and my children go without, honey. You know,
let
God,
me
God never
let me
let
tell
me go out
yes,
without.
let me tell y'all something. So we came on here 30 minutes late because the enemy was so busy. We had some technical issues, and so with my lack of of troubleshoot knowledge of troubleshooting, I was trying to walk her through how to, okay, download Chrome and do this. Okay, now go to your settings. Okay, now go to your start menu. Okay, now click, put the, yeah, we was working some stuff through because we were determined to show up and to be here today no matter what. And so we got it done.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you showed up, because everyone needed to hear what you had to share on today. And Dashel, let me tell you this, because I know when you first got on here, you said, "Hey, where I stay is, you know, in the hood."
Yes.
You know what? And it does what I have learned, because I grew up on 29th Street in Omaha, Nebraska. And when I was growing up at that time, like my block was hot. The block was hot. There was, a lot of, I'll just say, activity going on. Um, but the thing that saved me from crossing over that boundary into dangerous territory was my mother taking me to church all the time, taking me to church and setting those boundaries for me, like, no, you're not going to go here, no, you're not going to go, down the street, no, you're going to stay in the yard, no. And so I grew up like, mom, like, you're so protective, like, I'm going to be okay. But in all actuality, I thank my mother for making those boundaries that protected me, and for exposing me to God at such an early age, because it is something that I can um, you know rely on. It is something. It's my foundation.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's my foundation,
Yes.
and my foundation will never be shaken. My foundation will never be shaken. So I don't care, what block you're on, or where you move to. It's all about your foundation. Wherever you move to, as long as you take that foundation with you,
Yes.
you okay. So if you take that foundation to the mansion, if you take that foundation, in the hood, it's all good. We
Yes.
are covered. We are covered. Do you hear me?
I needed that. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this on up. I really don't even want to let you go.
I could answer the question though, because I didn't answer the question yet. I will answer that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you were asking. So you said what are some ways that I push through things? I think it's pretty good to end it with that, maybe, because I think that'll be some good note take. I don't know if people are good note takers, but I am. So if I was in the
Hey.
audience, I'd be taking notes right now, like, oh, let me go ahead and add this to my life because that's just me. I'm just, a note taker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then about the hood thing, though, I think that with living in the hood, I think what I learned about living in the hood or growing up from the hood is that everyone here is so real and authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm very thankful that if I haven't took away anything else, it's just being like an authentic person and being okay with who I am, regardless of what that looks like, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I think it's good, it's good to know the essence of who you are before you make it because sometimes we can get caught up in what society wants us to be. But if you already know who you are beforehand, then there's no one that can take that away from you. So I think that's very vital. That's what I've taken away from growing up like that. It's just, no one could take away your true authentic self from you. And I think that's more valuable than money if you think about that. As far as
That's so
pushing
good.
through,
That's so
pushing
good.
pushing through.
Look, I want y'all. I hope y'all are catching like all of these gems that she's dropping.
I'm sorry, it's just God. I promise y'all, it's God. It's not me. so, I actually took some. I wrote down this because I think it was really vital. Because I think it was the last question. I'm like, hold on, I gotta think about this. Like, how did I push through? Because if I had to write a book, or if I had to tell someone in three sentences how to overcome something,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them this. So the first thing that I would tell them is knowing that you have every tool and resource that you need to overcome this inside of you. So that's number one. If you guys are a note taker, I would take that down. I don't know if you need that repeated. You can hit me up on my messenger or on social media, and I can give you these tips again. The second one is remembering why you started, because I think sometimes that we forget why we're in this situation and why we're overcoming. I think I tell my children this because I have teenagers that are really hard headed right now, so they don't want to hear anything that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying. But I'm pretty sure that seed will, come out somewhere in the end or when they get a little bit older to understand this. But just understanding that um, there has to be something that pushes you and that this thing that's inside of you that doesn't make you stop doing something. And
Mm-hmm.
mine happened to be seeing my mother struggle, right? Not everybody gets motivated off of that. Some people, don't think that it's really that bad or anything like that. I don't think it's really bad, but I think that it gave me motivation to never ever 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 want to stop, if that makes sense. Now I'm not saying my mom struggled like that, but I'm saying just to see her, me, the love that I have for my mother, seeing that I couldn't give her what she needed in those times, I think is what is embedded in me to never stop. So I think that we need to find out why we started. Like always go back to like why are you doing this when you need to overcome something? And that has always pushed me forward in them days where I'm like, oh man, I don't want to do this. But I'm like, but like why are you doing this? And it's like for my mom ultimately, right? Because I want to show her that all the seeds that she placed in me is great. She's a woman of wisdom. She taught me. I remember there was nights where she would make me read all the time, and I always didn't understand why she made me read. But now that I'm adult, I'm like, I would have never got through it if she didn't make me read. Like she made me read. Structure, priorities. Those are things that are very vital, and I'm thankful for that. The third one is knowing that this trial is not for you. So most of the times in anything that I ever done in my life, none of those trials were for me. They were for someone else. And then down the line, I'm like, oh my God, I went through that for her. Because if I didn't go through that, then I wouldn't be able to tell her how to get out of that. Or if I didn't, mess up financially, I wouldn't know how to tell someone to critique their finances. Or if I didn't overeat, I wouldn't know how to tell a woman how to not overeat. It's just things like that. So, those three things have helped me, keep pushing in my life. So I think that those are vital to hand off to someone else to keep pushing. But you definitely have to find something in you that motivates you to never stop. And it has to be something passionate. It can't just be something like that you see other people doing. It has to be like a real life experience that you have encountered that makes you want to keep going, because other people can't keep you going. Ultimately, it has to be something inside of you that makes you keep going. There are some people that say, "Oh, I could never do what you're doing," or "I would never do that," and I'm like, "Hey, because you probably were never not given a choice." But when you
Mhm.
don't have a choice, you have to think about things differently. So that is my motivation. I don't have a choice. There's nobody I can fall back on but God. So then my whole perspective is different. So I think that people can start by just finding out what pushes you. So I'm sorry I had to end it there.
No, that was a great way to end that. You ended on three awesome bullets, which was okay. I wasn't taking notes, but the first one you said was, um, uh,
to, oh, sorry.
give it
To
to me.
know, yep. So number one was to know that you have all the tools and resources inside of you that you need to get through it.
Number two,
And number two is remembering why you started. And I gave
remember,
that example of my mom.
remembering your why. And number three
And number three is knowing that the trial that you're going through isn't for you,
is for somebody
it's
else.
for somebody else.
Okay, y'all. Okay, she has given it to us. She has given it to us, and I hope you have put that in your heart and you put that in your notes, because those three um, points can ultimately change your mindset. Okay, that's a mindset strategy right there. So let that resonate. We're gonna leave on that, but I want everybody to connect with Dashel. Go ahead and give your social media links and how to get in contact with you.
Yes. So of course you guys are on Facebook, so it'll be Dashel Living on Facebook. TikTok, Instagram, it's Light of Day, so it's Lightof and then Dai for TikTok and IG. Those are about more personal platforms. From there, you'll be able to follow my business platforms. So I would like you guys to definitely connect with me. Also, I want to see your lovely faces December 4th,
Hmm.
because I want whatever you're pregnant with to be birthed out. And everyone that's tuning in, I know specifically that you were chosen to watch this podcast, and we definitely want to see your face. We want to be a support to you, and we want to love on you, and we want to show you that there are true, authentic connections in Omaha, Nebraska, and we love you just how you are right now.
Absolutely. And I think there's going to be an outpouring of love that is going to continue to. I don't think this is going to be our first.
Whew.
I think this is something that is just going to continue.
Yeah,
I think it's the beginning. It's the beginning of something.
yeah.
And so with Lachey being the facilitator and the visionary of this, who knows what else God is going to give to her with this birthing season. But please, if you are on the fence, let me tell y'all right now, registration closes November 15th. It closes in 2 days, y'all. So if y'all been look, if y'all been clicking on it and just looking and then clicking out, go ahead, put your name, put your email, press send, submit, boom, your seat is secured. But after November the 15th, in 2 days, registration is closed.
Please
Okay?
come. We want to see you. I'm
Yes.
so excited to see their faces. Like, I know it's going to be life changing. It's going to be life changing for them and us. Even though we're up in front, it's going to change us as well on the inside. So I'm just thankful that you guys are going to be there, and I'm just thankful to be a part of what God is doing. So it's great.
All right. Now, on tomorrow for the Girl You Better podcast, we have part 5. Yes, we are going to have Miss Tiba Brown. Tiba, hey,
Hey,
Tiba.
Tiba. Tiba.
I get to interview you tomorrow, girl. You ready? Anyway,
I'm in that phase. I'm in that.
yes. So at 4 o'clock, same place. Tune in, man. I can't wait to talk with Tiba. So Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Be safe. God bless. And see you later.
See you later.